for the next presentation, I don't even have to invite someone virtually on stage, because this time the person who's going to be the presenter is already in the room. There we go, Benjamin.
Hey there again.
Hey there again. We saw you at the beginning. Now you're back with your very much anticipated presentation on a topic, as I said already, that might not be on everybody's radar when you think about fueling.
True.
And that is?
Sustainability.
Okay.
But I will tell you a bit more about it.
Exactly. So that's why I will leave the stage to you.
Can we move that away?
We can, if you want to.
I always love to walk a bit.
Let me just... Okay.
Working? Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. So first of... Working?
I'll take this.
You take this? All right. Cool. So first of all, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be part of this very first Future Fuel Lab. And first of all, a big thank you to Robin for organizing everything during the last days, weeks, month, incredible work. And I think so far it was really a exciting webinar, an exciting event. And I'm really happy to contribute with my little presentation today. So I actually want to get very quickly into the details. I don't want to bore you with company background, company details. So here's where we'll go. What I feel most excitement about at the moment is a topic that somehow, at least temporarily, vanished from many airlines' agenda. And I think it vanished for good reasons, because we all know there's this pandemic ongoing, and it's for many airlines the biggest challenge they've ever faced. Many of them are fighting very hard to survive, and therefore for good reason this topic has vanished. Nonetheless, I am genuinely convinced that in the long run, talking about 3, 5, 10 years, the topic, and Robin mentioned it already, the topic of sustainability will be the most dominating topic for the entire aviation industry. I think regardless of the business model you're operating, if you are a legacy carrier, a network carrier, regional carrier, low cost, charter operator, cargo operator, it doesn't matter. Regardless of the business model, regardless of the world region you're operating, no matter if you're operating in Asia, an international airline, in Europe, Middle East, Americas, it doesn't matter. Sustainability will be one of the most dominating topics, and actually I think one of the key success factors for many airlines. And I think there are several reasons why that is the case. First of all, we all know that airlines, at least pre-COVID, have started to spend or invest lots of money into becoming more sustainable, because of course they feel responsible for that topic, which is very good. But of course, we are all operating in a market, and there is some kind of pressure from other stakeholders pushing airlines to becoming more sustainable. There are governments who are pushing, but especially, and that will be most important in the future, there are passengers, clients that are more and more pushing airlines to becoming more sustainable. So, long story short, what I'd like to show you today, we heard a lot about digital fuel management and how that can save costs, how that can drive efficiency, all the benefits from different perspectives. And I would like, within the next 10 minutes, just to add one more perspective to that topic, and would like to show you, based on 3, let's call it examples or case studies, how digital fuel management can help airlines in becoming more sustainable, or to proceed on their path to becoming more sustainable. So let's dive right into it and start with the first thing we would like to show. And I think the important aspect is there is not this one holy grail, but there are many different measures that are needed. And as I said, we would like to show to you 3 of them. We heard a lot about the paper-based process today already. And I think for one airline, we are just talking about some pieces of paper. So what we did during the last weeks, we basically did a calculation. We talked to airlines and to fuel providers, how many pieces of papers are used within one fueling process. And we calculated that for all commercial flights, at least in pre-COVID time, that are operated during 1 year. And we came up with a number, and I think this is really an incredible number to read, that each and every year, 320 million pieces of paper are used or actually are wasted with the fueling process. 320 million pieces of paper. On a global scale, every commercial flight that is operated. And of course, it's a rough number. It's not a perfect, precise number, but it's a, I think, a incredible number to read. So for us, it was very hard to imagine 320 million pieces of paper. What is that? So we tried to make it a bit more tangible, and that's why we put it here on this mountain slide. If we build a pile of that papers, it would roughly equal to 4 times the height of the Mount Everest, more or less 32 kilometers of papers. More importantly, no, Robin was just asking if we can move to the next slide, but here's the most important point now. More importantly, besides this impressive number of the Mount Everest, in order to produce that amount of paper that is used every year with the fueling process, on an annual basis, 20,000 trees have to be basically or actually or literally cut in order to produce that amount of paper. So turning that into a positive thinking, if all airlines, all commercial airlines worldwide would do the step and move to a digital fueling process, from one day to another, the airline industry could save or can save 20,000 trees every year. And there's no additional invest needed. And it comes along with all the other benefits and advantages we just heard during the webinar: cost savings, efficiency improvements, and on and on and on. So it's just an additional side effect, if you want to call it that way, that comes with it. But I think it's a small impact, but still 20,000 trees, I think it's a huge, huge number that can be saved if everyone participates. Now we can move on to the next one. And this, I think, is even more interesting. It's also a topic we heard about today, the thing of tankering flights where the fuel provider or the interplane agent drives to the aircraft because they don't know that the aircraft is on a tankering flight, that no refueling is needed. So how does it look in the reality? The fuel truck drives to the aircraft, the captain screams out of the window, "No, sorry, we are on a tankering flight, see you next time, Joe." And Joe, the fuel truck driver, drives back to their station or to the next aircraft. The thing is, again, we did the calculation. What does that mean on a global perspective? So we analyzed how many tankering flights are performed every year, and of course we included some more variables to come up with that number. Nevertheless, the result we came up with is that 7.5 million fuel truck movements are unnecessary because of those tankering flights on an annual basis. Again, 7.5 million. So with that, we said if we just assume that every fuel truck movement needs 1 kilometer, and we sum up all the fuel truck movements, it is roughly 10 times to the moon and back. Unnecessary fuel truck movements, 10 times to the moon and back. I think this again is in a negative way, amazing number of unnecessary, avoidable fuel truck movement. And on top of that, we all know a fuel truck is not a smart or a small, I don't know, mini car. It has a considerable fuel consumption. So again, we translated that. What does that mean in terms of sustainability? And we came up with that number. You can see on that slide that approximately 5,000 tons of CO2 can be saved every year just by using this no fuel indicator function of digital fuel management in order to communicate with the interplane agent, with the fuel provider, while being on the flight, while being en route, and avoiding those unnecessary, and really I think it's really avoidable, unnecessary, avoidable fuel truck movements. again, the thing here is it's not only or primarily about doing something good for the environment. First of all, the airline can save a lot of money with that, because they, of course, have also to pay for that fuel truck movement most often. So it's, again, first of all, saving money. And as a side effect, there's really a huge, huge impact on the sustainability airlines can do simply by moving to a digital process. And finally, a last thing we would like to show. Yep. We couldn't calculate a number for that. It's pretty hard to calculate a precise number for that, but I think it gets clear very quickly what power is behind that. With I think some presentations also mentioned it today. With a digital fuel management, there is the possibility, and that's also what we heard from many of our clients, that they were able, after introducing a digital fuel management, to reduce fuel-related delays, especially at outstations. The results are very, very promising. We saw results that the fuel-related delays have been reduced by 70, 80, and even more %. And again, we all know, Robin also mentioned it today, every delay, first of all, means money, but it also means unnecessary fuel burn, at least in most cases. Not in every case. If the aircraft is still at the position, of course, then it doesn't burn fuel. But in many cases, it means more taxi time. It means flying holding patterns. It means and on and on and on. So it means burning fuel. And in this case, again, unnecessary, avoidable fuel. However, as I said, it's hard to calculate a precise number. Every airline would have to do that on their own in order to calculate how many fuel-related delays do I have, how many fuel do I burn during those delays, and what's the result out of that. Nonetheless, I think it is, again, something that can be easily reduced, easily avoided by moving to a digital solution. And same story here. First of all, it is about reducing delays. It is about saving money. And again, as a side effect, I think it's just so super essential. There is the positive, sustainable impact this approach brings with it. Finally, just two thoughts or two things we quickly wanted to share. From our company point of view, it is, of course, easy to tell airlines, come on, guys, you have to become more sustainable. We have a cool product you can use, and you can save money and you can reduce fuel costs, but also save trees and on and on. How we wanted to do a bit more, and that's why we initiated a company program or company initiative. And what we are doing is we basically want to, for every tree we save, so we say whenever a new client uses our product, we calculate how many papers we can eliminate, how many trees are saved by that, and we will plant the exact number of new trees. So hopefully in the next 5, 10, 20 years, we will see a huge information design forest with tens of thousands of trees. But at least this is how we want to contribute. Instead of just saying, come on, airlines, you have to become more sustainable. We thought it's time to do a bit more and to contribute a bit more to becoming more sustainable. Finally, thank you, Robin. So how to end this presentation? I think I achieved my goal today if just 2, 3, 4 people leave that webinar, that conference, and just remind or recall the facts I just told you. And probably during the next internal meeting, when discussing fuel management, when discussing sustainability projects, they remind that, they recall that, and they bring that to the table and drive that further. From to be very honest and very frankly speaking, from a sustainability point of view, from a personal sustainability point of view, I couldn't care less how you approach that. If you are building an own solution that helps you to become digital, if you do that with our product, if you go for a competitor, for another provider, I couldn't care less. Very, very frankly speaking, I think in the 21st century, we just have to get rid of paper-based processes. We have to get rid of process that relies on fuel truck movement that can be avoidable, that relies on fuel delays that can be avoidable. I think it's time to get beyond that. And as I said, I couldn't care less how you do it. I think It's just time to get it started. I'm super happy if you do that with us, but I'm also happy if you do that on your own. But just let's get it started, and yeah, let's make the world and the aviation industry a little bit greener. That would be a great result if just 2 or 3 of you recall that during the next week, then months. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for the presentation. Yes, so the forest is going to be planted soon, I guess, right?
We already started. Yeah, we selected a initiative where we invest the money, and then it's I would say a step-by-step growing.
Okay.
Of course, it starts with a small amount of trees, but we're getting it going. It's yeah.
So okay, and don't miss to check out. I think we have the forest progress on our website, so you can
exactly.
Track that.
We'll put it there. Maybe we have some photos with the next Future Fuel Lab from our small forest.
Maybe where we go down into the forest and plant some trees.
Some outdoor sessions.
Exactly. And this morning we just had the idea. Maybe we're going to do the fuel lab, one of the Future Fuel Labs, from the forest directly.
That would be great. That would be really green.
Yeah. So
cool.
Again, thank you very much, Ben.
A pleasure
for being here. And I hope the audience enjoyed it as well. And yeah, so let's get on to.
I will move away.